Hello, welcome back to Worldview Connections, our series on morality. And so we're talking about where people get their morality. We're going to be finishing off with where do people, where do you, where do we get our morality? How do we know what's right and wrong? And then also talking about a few different specific cases and topics and scenarios of what cases of good and evil are in morality. Um, so the meme generation, we have some good moral meanings and messages, but is this ultimately helping society and these programs that are really good? Programs like the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and Love and Logic that help families and teachers do a lot of good things. And we find morality in stories, right? Pinocchio's story. Some say that's basically recycling Jesus' parable of the prodigal son, the son who keeps making mistakes but ultimately comes back to his father as a better person. But a key point I want to talk about is people say, well, you're a moral person, you have a good conscience. And, they may talk about you have good empathy. When you do something wrong, you feel guilty about it, which is good. Um, I don't have it noted here, but great therapist, Brene Brown. I love her work on shame, great research and things on that we may get to on another series. But look at Jiminy Cricket. He's a symbol of this conscience, this inner voice, this intuition that people have. Uh, Pinocchio's the symbolic person who's always making mistakes, wishing on a star. When Geppetto and parents pray to God for their children, and the fairy helps Jiminy Cricket, and the fairy helps Pinocchio out to become a boy. So does God help us to become a true person in this case? And he returns to his father, his conscience. He in the prodigal son in Luke, Jesus' parable says the son who goes and gets crazy and sins, he comes to himself. So his conscience brings him back to being a morally good person and repents and comes back home. But what about cases of sociopaths? We've mentioned this before, but mental disorders. So now we have more of a scientific look on humanity and morality and saying, well, you can't just judge a person by looking at them. There may be unseen factors in the psychological realm. Does everyone have a conscience? Well, no. Some people don't have a conscience. Psychopaths, sociopaths, they don't have a conscience. They don't have guilt when they do something wrong, hurt somebody. And then there are even people who are sadistic, who have pleasure in hurting other people. So what about people who struggle with addictions and alcohol and drugs? They're good people, and then their addiction drives them to do things that are immoral. So this is a big topic, I think, within morality. So where do you get your morality? We'll finish this video today. Do you get your morality from your family, from your friends, from yourself? Do you have an inner intuition that you feel guides you to have happiness and morality? Do you find morality in art, in the inspiration, religious or non-religious art? In school, there's psychology classes and science and philosophy, sociology and history and humanities, especially in high school and college. Do these things, have they helped you form your morality with your community and your culture? What books do you feel give you morality? Are you an informal and self-driven truth seeker watching these videos because you look for truth wherever you can find it? Do you find morality in movies? And some of us would say all of these things, right? And religion. So yeah, I get my morality from my community, my culture, of all these sources. These are all the sources of our culture and the sources of morality. But where do you get your morality? All of the things that we've mentioned, the family, your friends, the art, school, education, religion, books, great poetry, there's different forms of art. I didn't show any theater or things like that, but where do you find it? Let us know in a comment below. So what motivates you to be moral and good? There's intrinsic, what internally motivates you, and the extrinsic, or the social pressures. And so we're going to be getting more into this, but love and compassion for others, there's an intrinsic. I do good because I love to help people. I love to help my friends. Or you're afraid of going to jail, or you're afraid of getting punished, right? Or you do it for money, right? I do this because I get paid. So let us know, and thank you for being with us on our series of morality.